Yeah, we are live, I think. Yeah, we are live, I think. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones, and tonight we're going to be talking Frampton versus Quigg. It's got everyone talking around in the boxing world. Can everybody hear me before I get started? Make sure my sound is correct. Hello, hello. Yep, it's working good. Just checking the chat in here because it seems to have frozen at the moment. Maybe lagging behind a bit. So let's see who we've got in the room. We've got Marky BA. We've got Ryan Goodwin. We've got Andy Wilkinson. We've got Cameron. We've got Dave Boy Essex UK. Mark Jones. All in the room. I don't know if I'm being heard or not though. Just check and see. Yes. Modern broadcast. Can people in the room hear me? I just need to check and see from the chat. Just type and see if you can hear me in the room. But I can't tell in this chat yet. Let me refresh this page. In the room. We can hear you. Good. Great stuff. Great stuff. Hey, Ingrid, we can hear. Yep, you can hear. Good. Good. The chat just seems a bit slow at the moment. I don't know why. Everything's coming through quite slowly at the moment. Yep, the logo's just there. Cool. That's all right. Great. Okay, we'll start again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, my name is Ingrid Jones, and thank you for joining for Frampton versus Quigg prediction show live, which means that I want to hear what you think, how you think this fight's going to go. The good thing about doing a live show like this is that everyone's got an opinion and everyone's quite heated at the moment. A lot of people are going with Frampton, thinking Frampton will win the fight and outclass and school Quigg. Then there are others on the other hand that think that Frampton may be a bit too arrogant, a bit too cocky, a bit too sure of himself, and that Quigg, with Gallagher in the corner, will win the fight. So what I want to do is hear what you all think, your views, your points of view, your opinions, as to who you think is going to win the big fight. First of all, I've got Ryan Goodwin in the room. Ryan saying Frampton points, easy win, easy work. I've got Mark Jones in the room. He says Frampton schools Quigg. Andy Wilkinson says don't be so sure. So still not sure as to why people are a bit slow in the room in terms of responding to my talk at the moment. So I don't know if I have to start this broadcast again. It seems a bit slow. I don't know why. think it's. I'm sure this chat is freezing. Obviously, positive it is. I don't know why. Andy Wilkinson says, I want Frampton to win, but I think Quigg will pull off the upset. He says, Ingram, you're lagging on mine. I'm not sure why. Yeah, that's what I'm saying myself. It seems very laggy over here at the moment. Okay, hey, it's starting to work now. We're getting it now. People are starting to come through in the chat. Let me see if I can sort the sound out on this as well. Right, here we go now. Things are starting to, we're starting to pick up in the room now, finally. Okay. Michael Redman says, hey, good to have you in the room, Michael. Dave Boy, Essex UK Boxing says, Frampton's boxing skills are good, but I think loads are down playing Quigg's boxing skill set. Interesting. Michael Redman says, you got something running in the background, mate, on your PC. No, nothing running in the background. Mandy Wilkins says, have a feeling Frampton might just be underestimating Quigg. Trash Boat says, what's up, Ingram? I said, yeah, it's cool, Trash Boat. Cameron says, I agree in a way with Dave. Andy Wilkinson says, Frampton seems rattled. Mike River says, evening, Andy. All right, pal. Jack Corley says, Frampton decision is still my pick. Okay, so Cameron is now coming and says, Quigg KOs Frampton. Very interesting. From a man, Cameron, who's been backing Carl Frampton, has now said that Quigg KOs Frampton. Very interesting. Jack Corley says no. Trashboat says, Frampton always seems rattled. LOL. I would say that Carl Frampton's a bit of a live wire. He's a bit of a live wire. I think he always looks rattled in every fight he's in. I tell you one thing, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The fact he got complacent against Gonzalez is not a good sign. Why would you want to be complacent on the biggest fight of your career in terms of the in terms of fighting in America on PBC bill and knowing that millions of people are going to watch you? Why the hell would you be complacent? Cameron says, I'm still backing Frampton. Haha, I'm messing, bud. Good. We all think a lot of stuff comes down to what happens in the night. Oh, Cameron, welcome to the real side, says Michael Redman. Jack Corley says, Cameron, you damn traitor. UDF have been informed. Cameron says, Quigg is easy work. Dave Boy says, Cameron. Modern Broadcast says, agree. Quigg to stop him. Davey Boy Essex says, LOL. Michael says, I'm taking these comments down, kids. Cameron says, I'm Irish and I'll back my man. Michael says, Quigg KO early. Andy Wilkins says, I completely agree with Ingram. Does Frampton have the focus? See, I want to know. There's two things I want to know. Now, Quigg, I think, is a murderous body puncher. I just want to know what happens the first time Quigg lands a good body shot on Frampton, what he does. And for the other thing for Frampton is I want to know, up to this day, I'm not so sure. I don't know if Frampton knows what he's doing himself. And hear me out when I say this. Is Frampton a counter puncher? Is he a boxer puncher? Is he just a puncher? What is Frampton? Is he a counter puncher? I mean, if he's a counter puncher, then when he fought Gonzalez, he was on the front foot coming forward and getting countered by Gonzalez. When he's up in close, he was getting hit with uppercuts all the time by Gonzalez. And remember, Gonzalez was the worst opponent. Out of all the guys that could have been selected, Gonzalez was the worst opponent. So Frampton was meant to go out there and do a number on Gonzalez. Cameron says Donaire beats them both anyway. Well, we'll see about that. We're sticking tonight on Frampton Quigg. That's what we're talking. Quigg by KO 7 or 8. Those body shots will take the toll on Frampton, especially because he looks so drained. Jack Corley says Texas effect. Well, for me, I think the body shots are going to be interesting when Quigg lands on Frampton. I want to know what happens there, because even with Gonzalez, when he landed the body shots, it didn't look too good. Modern Broadcast says he's a boxer puncher, if anything. Frampton still carries power. He does. But we'll see what sort of power he carries. Frampton will pull away, crouched, as he did against Martinez. But hey, Quigg is more precise with his punches. Redmond says the first time Quigg tickles them ribs, Frampton's whole fight game plan changes. Suspect's body, in my opinion, Frampton. Cameron says Quigg looked drained more than Frampton. Cameron says Quigg looked terrible. Well, you know, with Quigg and Frampton, particularly Quigg, you see these guys that I think you used to look like that a lot. You look at Frankie Gavin. Frankie Gavin always looked terrible on the weight. And then come fight night, he looked okay. I mean, I don't know. Did Quigg overtrain for this fight? That's always a possibility. Biggest fight of his career. He's overtrained, gone a bit too far with the training. Who knows? And what do people think of the whole thing between Joe Gallagher and Shane McGuigan? The pushing and pulling and pushing there. What was all that about? Anybody got any ideas? Redmond says, agreed, Cam. Frampton looked more drained yesterday. Definitely Quigg today. If one of those fighters get bowled over, they will move up, blame the weight loss. Well, yep, I think that's going to be an excuse. Quigg the bigger man, so he will look more gaunt, says Davey Boy. Jack Corley says Frampton ain't the first UK guy to struggle in UK. Look at Fury versus Cunningham, more recently Selby versus Montel. Good point there, Jack. Cameron says people say Frampton struggles more than Quigg, though. Cameron says Quigg looked worse, though. Trashbot says Quigg always looks lean and he never shows any emotion that is stared down. Micro says, heard something that is actually more dangerous to take weight off earlier in the week than to get the last bit of weight off on fight eve. Seems Frampton's got the weight off himself early. Okay. But whether Frampton's in shape or he's got the weight off early or whatever, you have to look at Frampton going down the stretch. I've seen Frampton in round 7 and 8 and look knackered. And that was against Kiko Martinez. And Martinez is not really noticed a body punch. He's more of a head puncher. Dave Boy says, not got a problem with that, Cameron. Mike Redmond says, and Quigg got last water weight off last night, in my opinion. I was more entertained with the Barry McGuigan trying to get fresh with Clifton Mitchell. Haha. Great point, Jack. So that would be, it'd be terrible if one of the guys turned after the fight and said, oh, well, I lost the fight because I lost, the weight loss. Chris 288 says, has Frampton become a bit of a diva? A-side. Yeah, I think he has become a bit of a diva, to be honest. But I think when you pack out arenas in Belfast, but then he's packing arenas out in Belfast, but how big are the arenas in Belfast? I mean, there's packing out arenas and packing out arenas, you know? So I think he has become a bit of a diva, Chris. But then if you're in Belfast and you've got everything going your way, then yeah, of course you'd be a diva. Jack Corley says, cheers. I'm a big believer on the environment affecting the outcome of a fight, especially if it's the first time. Cameron says, no, Chris, it's just pretty mind games. As for atmosphere, does it work in the favour of Frampton or does it work in the favour of Quigg? If you're a Frampton fan and you've seen Frampton get rattled and you've seen Frampton get animated, is he going to lose the game plan in a big fight and stand and trade with Quigg instead of boxing on the back foot, which everybody wants to see? And as for Quigg, biggest fight of his career, bar none, how does he react? I mean, if you go by the consensus that Quigg's not very intelligent, I've said this before, if you go by the consensus he's not very intelligent, then he's not much of a thinking fighter, and that means he's not going to bother him. Whereas someone like Frampton is a big thinking fighter, as everyone says he's the intelligent one, then he may overthink things. What about that, people? Cameron says Frampton will have more pull. He's the A side. He's headline bills. This is Quigg's first main event fight. But the dressing room thing is just for show. Jack Corley says, a fighter's foot away from home, I mean. Redmond says, Barry just a wind-up merchant trying to unsettle, and Gallagher a Marino type a figure trying to heap pressure on himself to take pressure from Quigg. Jack Corley says, how unbearable a person is Joe Gallagher? Ryan Goodwin says, Frampton points, it's all easy work. Well, didn't look easy work against Gonzalez. Constantly getting hit with uppercuts, getting counted on the inside, lunging and getting countered by a guy who was ranked 16th in Mexico. And even out of Frampton's own mouth was considered a bum. You know, so easy work for Frampton? I don't see it somehow. Depends on how you see things, Jack. Cameron says, I used to think he was unbearable, but Gallagher actually speaks sense sometimes. He does speak sense. I think Gallagher speaks his mind, says what he wants to say. And a lot of people don't seem to like it because of the way he says it. It's the tone in which Joe Gallagher uses sometimes, but that's just him. Jack Corley says he would never get around it in at the pub. Mark Jones says Frampton all the way. Jay, I do understand, but how does Frampton win it? Are you saying Frampton off the back foot? I think the only way Frampton can win this fight is off the back foot. I don't see him winning the fight on the front foot. I think he makes too many mistakes coming forward. I don't think Frampton's got a great jab. And I think Frampton, if he's going to win the fight, he'll win off the back foot, countering Quigg. Cameron says, I'd be very intrigued to see how people see the fight, this fight, if Frampton blew Gonzalez away. A lot of people are basing Quigg's win off of that. Well, Cameron, you're only as good as your last fight, as they say in boxing. And if you're going to base it on the last fight, Frampton looked terrible against a basic fighter who was meant to knock over in a few rounds. And Quigg looked great against a guy who's considered world class. So if you look at it that way, based on the last fight, Quigg looked great. And actually, if you look at it even closer still, Martinez was picked. A lot of people thought Martinez would win the fight against Quigg. Okay? And Frampton's fight was a foregone conclusion. It was an easy fight for Frampton on PBC. So if you look at it that way, Frampton really didn't look good against a guy who should have blown away. And Quigg looked great against a guy who, it was a 50-50 fight. And a lot of people thought that Frampton was going to lose. So what about that? Redford says, Gallagher is only prickly if he is slagged off. People know he reacts, so they ruffle his feathers. Mark Jones says, agree. But has a good jab. Frampton has KO power. I think Frampton just took him too lightly and messed about with training and paid the results. I don't see Frampton any worse than before that fight. Mark Jones says, well said, Cameron. Well, it's that arrogance of Carl Frampton, that lack of professionalism in his biggest fight to date, and I keep saying it, in your biggest fight to date on PBC, and you picked the opponent. There was a list of opponents, and that was the worst guy, or the easiest guy to beat on that list that Al Heyman gave to Carl Frampton. And he didn't look great against the worst guy. What I'd love to have known is who else was on that list for Carl Frampton to headline against on the PBC card. I really would love to know who those other guys were. Does anybody have any idea as to who those other guys Frampton could have fought that he didn't choose to fight? Mike Redmond, I'm not. I'm basing it over the last 5 years. I go back to how Quigg battered Jason Booth and Renda Monroe, and Quigg has more power and better combination since then. Frampton has kind of plateaued and not progressed. Cameron says, I think Frampton will make the fight easier than people think. Michael will disagree, which is what makes this interesting. Frampton will make it easy for himself if he doesn't make the mistakes he made in that last fight against Gonzalez. But for you to be able to box the way he's going to have to box, he's going to have to control the bigger, stronger man, who I think is Quigg. He could, mate. I know he could, Cam. Close fight. I see it a number of ways. I actually don't see this being a close fight. I actually go heavily in Quigg's favour. And I think Quigg stops Frampton with those body shots. I'm picking Quigg inside the first half to fight. Well, 6-7 body shots. I'm going with Quigg. You know, I'm a big Frampton fan, and hey, I did a piece for Irish Boxing Review back in 2014, and I predicted that Frampton would go on and become a world champion. I said if he had the right fights, there's no reason why he couldn't become a superstar in boxing. I also said that if he got the right fights, that's what I did say about Carl Frampton. So I do like Carl Frampton. Ever since I've seen Frampton, I've always been a fan of him. But I just don't. There's just things about Frampton's style that, I mean, like I said, what is he? Is he a boxer puncher? Is he a counter puncher? What is he? Because like I said, if he's a counter puncher, then he got his tactics all wrong against Martinez. Okay, if he's a puncher, okay, fine. But when he went and engaged and got inside with Gonzalez, when he got inside with Gonzalez, he was getting hit with the right uppercut. He was getting hit with uppercuts. Go back and look at the tape. He was getting hit with uppercuts over and over and over again. I'll ask you the question. If he's getting hit with uppercuts by Gonzalez, what happens with Quigg hitting with the uppercut? And now on the other side for Scott Quigg, his fight against Martinez, first round, you could say he looked not very good. And he looked like he was panicking, put under pressure. And one of the criticisms about Scott Quigg is he doesn't move his head. And the other thing is, while he's throwing his own punches, he seems to forget that other people are allowed to throw punches back. So that's a concern as well. Mark says, haha, boo. So obviously Mark is a big Frampton man. Cameron says, I get a feeling there'll be controversy. They'll set up a huge rematch in the summer. And Graham Boxing, good evening, says, I can see Quigg hurting him also. Redmond says, I can see a number of ways, mate. I could have always said my pick is Quigg early. I can see it going differently, but Quigg early is my tip. Modern Broadcast says, wonder if Oscar Valdez was on that list. Interesting. Michael Redmond says, if it's close in the cards, it's going to be a draw, nailed on, loads of outcomes on the cards. Jack Corley says, of course Frampton is dedicated. He lives away from home from month to end. I definitely don't believe the Sky editing. They're trying to portray him as disinterested with boxing. That's just BS, in my opinion. Fever B says, got Quigg is suddenly Ernie Shavers. LOL. The simpleton will get schooled. Right. Michael Redmond, I've never seen any footage come over like that, Jack, mate. Right. While we're in this room and we're discussing Frampton Quigg, the reason why I've done this Frampton v Quigg prediction video, because, you know, there's a habit that happens in boxing where people have a big opinion about things. And then when they make their opinions, they leave their comments on YouTube. Oh, I think this is going to happen. That guy's going to get smashed. This guy's going to get destroyed. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. This guy's a bum. That guy's a bum. And we're all experts. And then when the fight's over, a lot of people go crawling under their, back to their caves or their lairs, and they forget the predictions they made. So, for those of you who've got big cojones on you, for those of you who really believe in what you're saying, here's the time for you to come up and say what you've got to say on Frampton Quigg. Who do you think wins the big one? Is it Quigg? Is it body punching? Are you convinced in the chin of Frampton? His last fight against Gonzalez. Or maybe against for Quigg, his fight against Salinas, where he didn't look that impressive. What's making you decide? Okay, it's prediction time, people. Let's get your predictions in. Jack Corley says, Sky have been posting videos of Frampton training a lot, Jack, so I have to disagree. Cameron says, sweating one out. Jack Corley says, that's what came across to me. Scott lives in the gym and Carl's living it up, trained in London, coffee bar. Michael says, people's just buying into stuff they hear, in my opinion. Make your own mind up. Best advice I can give anyone. Okay, that's it. No more talking. What I want now is your predictions. Your predictions for the fight. Everyone that's in the room, give me your predictions. And that's it. Mike Redmond, Scott Quigg, KO early. Feig Habib says, Frampton unanimous point decision. Is betting money. Quigg is suddenly a murderer because he closed his eyes and caught Kiko with a good shot. I will say this much in terms of that Kiko thing. That shot would have been practiced 100, 1,000 times in the gym, not just for Kiko Martinez. It's a reflex shot that Scott Quigg threw. He's probably been throwing that shot since he's been boxing. And as far as I'm concerned, when Quigg, when Martinez charged him, it was Quigg's natural reaction to do that. The same punch, similar type of punch, reflex punch. For another example, Andy Lee, when he fought John Jackson, knocked at John Jackson, backed up against the ropes. Andy Lee pulled out a shot from absolutely nowhere. As far as I was concerned, it was a reflex shot. So it's a reflex shot. So the aim of the game was to hurt the other opponent and get him out of there. So it's not like it was a lucky punch. There's no luck. There's no such thing as a lucky punch in boxing because you're meant to throw punches. So, yeah. So Modern Broadcast says, Quigg early. LOL, Habib. I agree with the last part. So Cameron agrees with Habib saying Frampton, Quigg got lucky. Andy Wilkinson says, Quigg by KO within 8. Cameron says, I will go whatever Andy thinks. I'm a striker. I don't need to look at the goal to score. You understand? We're in this together. LOL. David Boyer, Essex says, Quigg, late KO. Interesting. Interesting. Andy, you think Quigg wins? Get that shit out of here. Cameron says, Frampton by split decision. Tell you something. If the fight goes to points, as far as I'm concerned, this fight will be considered a draw. And then there'll be a rematch. There's too much money on the table if the fight gets close. So I would advise either of those guys to go for the knockout so if they don't have to see one another again. While we're here, I think we'll just talk about the other fights where we're in tonight as well. Eddie loves a draw. Of course he loves a draw. While we're here, very quickly, I just want to talk about the other fights that are on. Afolabi, Huck. For me, I'm going for Afolabi in this one. Feed QB says, anyone picking Quigg is drinking the Sky Sports propaganda. Same with Joshua being best heavyweight in the world. Cameron says, could you imagine a build-up to the rematch if it was close in a draw? Both boys bickering about who won. Yep. So very quickly, I want to talk Afolabi and Huck. What are your predictions for Afolabi versus Huck, please? I think Afolabi versus Huck 4. Predictions, please. Huck on points and Crawford to destroy Lundy by 6-round stoppage. Yeah, my other picks, Ingram. LOL feed. I have my own mind, and I've seen this fight close for a long time. I've edged it towards Quigg. Jack Corley said they will both argue who won anyway, regardless of the decision. Jack Corley says Huck decision. Huck points 8-4. Okay, I'm going to go Afolabi for this one. Huck coming back off a bad knockout defeat to Golaki. And I don't know. I don't know if Huck still makes cruiserweight anymore for me. The relationship between him and Don House is very interesting as well. Cameron Gillen says, Huck not done yet. He got lazy against Golaki. He beats most cruiserweights. He didn't get lazy. I predicted that knockout. I was on Twitter and I said, Huck keeps pulling back straight back from punches, and Golaki's going to catch him with one of them shots pulling out. He's getting knocked out tonight. People were laughing at me, and then he went down, and that was the end of the fight. Kryptonite proves me wrong, and time again. I think Huck, but Ollah's got that bomb. I'm going with Ollah. Cameron says Afolabi hasn't got those few gears to win, in my opinion. Davy Boy, Essex UK boxing round 4 says Afolabi by KO Crossroads. Redman says either Huck points 8-4, maybe 7-5. Redman says I hope Ollah can win. I want it. Heart says Ollah. Head says Huck. What about Afolabi Bellew? Would you like to see that fight? I'd like to see, honestly, I still would love to see Bellew versus Macronelli. I think that's a good fight to make. As for Terence Crawford, I think it's a bit soon to be calling him a pound-for-pound great. I still have concerns about Crawford's chin. I don't know about his chin as a light welterweight or welterweight. So I think my verdict on Terence Crawford is out at the moment. He's a very talented fighter, but to call him a pound-for-pound great and all the rest of it, I'm not sure. Huck beats Lebedev, Drutz, and Ramirez. Possibly beats Ramirez for sure. Lebedev, I ain't so sure, because if he leaves his chin in the air against Lebedev, Lebedev will take it off for him. Cameron says Crawford is nowhere near pound for pound yet. I agree. In my opinion, I would agree with that as well. Huck is another example of European struggle in America. The fight is back home in Germany. The decision is in the bag. He's already 9-0 up on all 3 scorecards. Yes, Jack. That's very true. Very, very true. Very, very true. The other British fights that are on, Marsh Shinquin, who's been on Bayloric TV4 versus it's Burton. Who wins the fight between Shinquin and Burton? Any thoughts on that? And Lowe, Isaac Lowe versus McCulloch, the Irishman, Mark McCulloch, his name is. Any thoughts on those 2 fights? Corva's best win is Burns. Gamboa was never a lightweight and gave him trouble. I agree with that. I agree with that as well. Just reading some comments here. Cameron says a few prospects are out for the undercard tomorrow. Charlie Edwards, yep, he's a good fighter. Jack Colley says no idea who wins any of those fights, which is really sad considering they're all on big stage. Modern Broadcast says Isaac Illo looks very good. Shin Queen on point says Davey Boy. Modern Broadcasters, I got it. Modern Broadcasters, I got Shin Queen winning a decision. Think he looked much better last time out. Cameron says, exactly, Jack. No one knows a lot about the undercard fights, really. Cameron says, hard to call. Ingram, I've got a question. Go ahead. Cameron asked the question. Featured, I've spoken to Marshall quite a few times and featured him on Bayloric a few times. Nice guy. Good boxing ability. I've seen Low and Shin Queen in like 4 6 rounders. That's about it. I'm really glad that he left Steve Goodwin and he moved over. You know, I think if you're going anywhere serious in boxing, you know, and he left Steve Goodwin and moved over to Box Nation, I think it was a very good move for him. Mickey says Carl Frampton wins by late stoppage. Team Frampton. Okay. Cameron says Hearn says there isn't any need for an undercard tomorrow because it sells on its own. But on Froch Groves 2, which was bigger, he had Quigg, Joshua, Mitchell, McDonald on it. This is the worst pay-per-view undercard in UK history. Okay. The Horton fight is on one of my channels, Jack. Okay. Worst pay-per-view in history? In UK history? I thought Brook versus Gavin was pretty terrible, actually. For pay-per-view event, that was terrible. But there you go. Do you think it's the worst undercard in history? No, I thought David Hayes' undercard was pretty poor for this fight. That's the question. It's tragic. Worth a watch, Jack. So, Brooke Gavin had Selby Granovich and Mitchell Linares. Okay. What else? Well, okay. Yeah, Mitchell Linares was a good fight. Selby Granovich was just, I knew Selby would win that fight. Mike River says that was a stadium fight going out to 200 odd countries. they had to stack the card for Froch Groves too. This fight isn't even pay-per-view. In America, this is Showtime or HBO fight. UK fans get shitted on. Cameron Gill says they were two great fights. Mickey, what's your prediction yourself? Yeah, I've gone the opposite, unfortunately, Mickey. Gone with Quigg to stop Frampton with body shots. Michael says, yeah, Ingram. Brooke Gavin, Dross, money fight for the boys. Brooke Gavin's undercard was solid. Ryan Hibbert fight was a quality scrap. Bellew Cleverly 2 was on that. Yeah, it had Groves versus the Mama's Boy, I think. Yeah, that main event wasn't anywhere near pay-per-view. Brooke Gavin wasn't in pay-per-view, sorry. Gavin McDonald by points. Got to stick to the game plan. Okay. That's what sells the pay-per-view. Okay. Fair enough. Anybody got any news yet as to who Fury's opponent will be? Will it be Ustinov? Does anybody know? Yeah, we get fights from USA that are pay-per-view that aren't over here. It's obvious what country you're in. Have they sorted out the dressing room crap out yet? No, I haven't. LOL, Mama's Boy. Dave Boy says Ryan Hibbert was one of my favorites. Dennis Douglin. Yeah, I remember Dennis Douglin. Agree. I want to see the 40th fight between them. LOL. Funny. Very, very funny. Very funny. What do people think while I'm at it of Deontay Wilder and his trip to Russia? Anybody want to make a prediction for Deontay Wilder's fight in Russia? My good friend Lee Keevan says, I'm Quigg. I like Frampton, but unless he catches Quigg cold, the longer it goes, the more Carl fades. That's what Lee Keevan says. I heard Huey's fighting a fella called Man. First name Invisible. Yeah, he's running scared. Don't want Ryan again. Ingram, what was that? What was what? Will he ever make it to the fight? Missed the question. Ryan will school him. WBC belt goes in the bin, says Jack Corley. I'm not calling Wilder fight yet, mate, says Michael Redman. Okay. Anybody want to make a prediction? The prediction can be that Wilder doesn't fight Povetkin at all. The prediction could be Wilder gets smashed by Povetkin. PKB says, Ingram, who was the guy you interviewed saying Hugh Fury is going to be a Hall of Famer, but rubbish Usyk? Embarrassingly biased. Is Asghar Tahir. Asghar is part of Team Fury. He's one of the trainers in Team Fury. I think he's one of the cornermen, actually, for Team Fury. So, Mickey says, Eddie Hearn's well, you know. Cameron says, yeah, I was fuming when Asghar said Usyk was shit. I love Usyk. Jack Corley says, Asghar from Team Fury. Jack Corley says, Asghar was terrible. Right, well, I have to get Asghar back on because a lot of people are impressed with Asghar. They felt that he was a bit too biased towards the Furies. You know, one thing is very loyal, so I don't think that's a bad thing. Fury should charge Asghar rent for living in their asses. Michael Ripper says he's gonna fight. He's gonna fight, mate. Total bitch move if he drops the Wilder. Cameron says PMSL. Pissed myself laughing. There were actually, Cameron, I was meant to say to you that there was somebody on Twitter, on my YouTube channel, that said that in that show that we did with Asgar, he said the person commented and said that asked you to get off your knees in front of Asgar. So I think it's something you should check out. Jack Corley says he's a hype man, isn't he, Ingram? I don't think he's a cornerman at all. No, he's genuinely part of Team Fury, and he's an integral part of Team Fury. Very, very important part of Team Fury. And Peter Fury seems to has a lot of faith and belief in Asgar and Ramsey. So I guess they're repaying that faith. Get old Bashir in. He's the man, says Cameron. Agreement made to have the fight in America. Get Asgar and Tony Brooks at the same time. That made me laugh. That made me laugh. That's funny. That's funny. Asgar and Tony Brooks in the same room. That's funny. Is Wee Paul on the undercard? Which Paul? Paul Butler? Don't think so. That's what I think will happen concerning the Wilder fight. Cameron says, nah, Ingram, I don't pay any comments. I don't pay attention to troll comments anymore. See, I think a lot of people obviously were impressed with Asgar. I don't know, he spoke his truth. That was his truth. Redman says, yeah, Bashir messaged me on Skype earlier, Ingram. Said he was looking forward to chatting. Have to set up part 2, mate. Yep, well, that'd be good to get him back in and chatting with him. We can get a hold of him. That'd be great. Bashir's, and you know, Uncle Bashir's in and out. He's ducking and diving. If I can catch a hold of him, yeah, we can do that for sure. Cameron says, Bashir didn't accept me on Skype. Fuming. Does he know who I am, LOL? Jack Corley says, yeah, but I think his position is as a manager advisor, not a cornerman. But I thought Ramsey was a cornerman. Ramsey's a cornerman, so is Asgar. Just to finish, I want to hear what people think about Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter. It goes back to something I said a long time ago. I said, Keith Thurman said to me back in 2013/14, he said to me, look, me and Porter will not fight unless it's for big money or it's a unification bout. Now, here's a thought. It's only a conspiracy thought. I don't believe it. It's just one thing to throw out there. Could it possibly be that Floyd Mayweather's going to come back, make his comeback, fight his 50th fight? Garcia versus Mayweather will be top of the bill, with Porter versus Thurman on the undercard. What about that? How does that sound? Jack Corley says, Cameron, you were sucking Team Fury a bit too much. Michael says, haha, I just need to reanimate. I did, Mike. He still didn't. Strange. I understand he's part of Team Fury, but he was acting like a child. Everyone else is crap. My mates are the best. Cameron says, Jack, all I got to say is F boxing, LOL. Jack Corley, Thurman ran over his grandmother's dog to avoid this fight. Haha, go on, Cam. LOL, Cam. Hard to beat the Slazenger socks. Team Fury. Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear me. Well, I don't know if Keith Thurman's going to be one time, last time, only time, no time, run time. I don't know. Keith Runtime got out the kitchen because he knew the Porter was bringing too much heat. Well, Let's bring Bashir on now. Call him, message him. Bashir's nowhere to be found at the moment. I want to confront him on the show live. Gillian versus Bashir on Skype pay-per-view, $9.99. Yeah, no. Once Keith, once upon a time, Thurman. Heck, Cam sounds like you really want to be a member of the Bashir Brigade. I think Keith Thurman's getting a bit of a backlash from a lot of the boxing press, particularly ones who support him on the way up. Talking to a few people in the States and think that Keith Thurman now won't talk to most people in boxing, boxing media. Like before, he's talked to them all the time, but now he's kind of got, you know, Billy Big Balls. I think now that he doesn't want to talk to anybody, and so that's been a bit of a problem, you know. And so therefore, the backlash is if Keith Thurman was to lose to Porter, his stock, his stock is not rising; it's falling every time you think about it. His stock went downhill after the Dorero fight, because then he said that what's the guy's name? Collazo was over the hill. Then he almost went life and death against Collazo. And then he's been calling out every fighter under the sun, and then calls everyone that's not bona fide welterweights. And then fight against Porter is trying to be made, and for the life of me, I don't know why the fight wasn't being made. And then what happens when the fight actually is made? Does he get himself into an accident? So you can ask yourself the question: does he really want to be a part of the fight? Cameron says, "Why am I getting the runt of the shit tonight? Screw this. I'm off to another sport," says Cameron. Right. I think Keith has lost confidence in his power, in my opinion. He was gassed after stopping bums. Now he can't stop anyone decent. Well, I've said this before and I'll say it again. The shoulder injury of Keith Thurman, since the what was the fight? Yeah, we stopped the guy in the third round. Oh, what's his name? Jesus Soto Carras. Since that fight, Keith Thurman hasn't looked great. And even in the Soto Carras fight, Thurman was shaken up. So, as guys in here to feel our fury, so Cam's getting it. LOL. For those who are interested, we'll be talking to Peter Fury shortly to find out what's going on in Camp Fury. A few questions to ask Peter, actually. I think I'll talk a bit more about Team Fury and find out what's going on there. So something for you boxing fans to look forward to. Anything else? Anybody else got anything else to say before I lock the show off for Frampton Quigg? Don't worry, I'll be back here again after the fight for those who made your predictions. And then I'll do a review show. I'll go through all the predictions, all the things that people said. Be interesting. Right, that's it then. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch this show. Don't forget to watch our Frampton v Quigg Big Fight Special. Videos out at the moment on the Bayloric TV boxing channel, the normal channel, which has got a special roundtable debate with 78 Sports TV. For those of you who watch your YouTube boxing, 78 Sports TV does some great stuff. And the Boxing Insight with Cameron, Michael Redmond, and Ben Blackwell, and myself. So tune into that. It's a good little debate. We'll talk about the strengths and weaknesses of both guys. We'll break it down, give our predictions, and we also talk about Deontay Wilder and his challenge or his fight in Russia. Modern Broadcast says, enjoy the fight, lads. Let's hope it's a definitive win and everyone can move on. I agree. Live post-fight, I'm here. War Frampton. Ingram won't be the boxing insight much longer. Changes are coming. Cameron, was that your hands typing that filth? LOL. Cameron's a wind-up merchant, people. Right. I'm out of here. Don't forget to check out the interviews on the channel as well. Rate, subscribe, leave your comments. And for goodness sake, share the video on your YouTube, your Facebook walls, your Twitter walls, wherever. Share it. Let people get to know more about Bayloric TV. I'm out of here. Take care. Thanks for watching.